Hey, this is Marie Wilson and welcome to the guitar tutorial for the Lily Allen cover, Somewhere Only We Know. Now I play this song in A. Some people I know play this song in G and they have a capo on the 2nd fret. But for the purposes of this guitar tutorial, we'll be doing it in A. Right, so for the intro, we start on the A chord. Being careful not to play the bottom E string here because it just sounds a little bit out of whack. And we're going to an A major 7 after that. Now the A major 7 is very different from an A7 for beginner guitarists. An A7 is this, it's the same as an A chord and you just take off the middle finger. An A major 7 has the index finger on the 1st fret on the G string, the middle finger on the 2nd fret and on the D string, and the 4th finger on the 2nd fret also and on the B string, right? And it's a beautiful, pretty chord. Now, just to remind you of what the shape is for an A major 7, you probably know how to play a D7. It is one string up for each finger from a D7. So a D7 is pretty much the index finger on the 1st fret but on the B string, the middle finger on the 2nd fret and G string, and the 4th finger on the 2nd fret but the top E string. So if we just move all those fingers down one string, staying in exactly the same fret, you've got A major 7. All right, so we go, now it might take a little bit of practice to go from the A to the A major 7 without having some sort of delay or some sort of kind of break. So just try and practice. So it will take a little time if it's a chord that's not familiar to you, but just keep practicing and you'll notice that you'll eventually pick it up. All right, so that's the first two chords. I came across a fallen tree. The next chord is a B minor. Now I like to play this B minor because the song has lots of keyboards in it. There's some beautiful notes in there that sometimes you miss out when you're playing on guitar. So I like to keep my index finger, rather than sort of holding it right across the fret like a standard B minor, I like to just have the index finger and holding down the top two strings, but leave the rest of the strings open. So you can see I kind of bend my finger slightly, but the rest is a normal B minor chord, but it just means that you get that open E string up the top, which I think is really pretty. So that's the third chord. And we just go to an E suspended 4th, which is a standard E chord, and you just get your little finger on the 2nd fret and on the G string, and that makes the E suspended 4th and E. And then we go straight into the first verse. So I'll just go over that intro again. We've got A, to A major 7, to B minor, and try to not have your index finger covering the whole fret, and then to an E suspended 4th, just to an E, and then we go into the first verse. The first verse is pretty much an extension of the intro. So we've got our A chord. I walked across to the A major 7, an empty land, to the B minor with the open strings. I knew the pathway like the back of my hand. Just E suspended 4th to an E, and then we repeat that. I felt the earth, which is A to A major 7. Sat by the river, which is B minor, made me complete. So that's E suspended 4th down to the E. And then we're going to head up into, I guess we would call this like a pre-chorus. So the pre-chorus starts on an F sharp minor. So we've just come out of that verse from the E suspended 4th to the E. And we go, oh simple thing, where have you gone? Now that's a C sharp minor. Now as with the B minor in the first verse, we're going to try and just have the index finger cover those top two strings and not have it fully holding down over the whole fret. So because we want to hear those open strings, particularly that open E string. So it goes from an F sharp minor, oh simple thing, where have you gone, to a C sharp minor. We're going up to a D. I'm getting old and I need, to a B minor. with that, just holding down those two bottom strings. And I need something to rely on. It's an E suspended fourth down to an E, and then we repeat that that whole chord progression. So tell me when F sharp minor, you're gonna let me in C sharp minor. I'm good, which is D, and somewhere to begin, which is a B minor, up to the E suspended fourth and the E. So normally we would, after this section, go straight into the second verse, and we give it a little bit more. So this is where kind of the band would kick in, and the dynamics kind of rise a little bit in the song. The actual chords and the only thing that's really different is the words and perhaps the attack. So you might want to give it a little bit more energy for the second verse. So we're going to assume that we're moving on from the second verse and from the second pre-chorus, and we're going to go into what the chords are now for what I would consider to be the chorus, which is the and if you have a minute, why don't we go? All right, so those chords are B minor with the index finger just holding down those two chords. If you have a minute. All right, so this is actually an A chord, but the way I play this A chord, and it's mostly so that I can get the nice open strings ringing out, is it's a bar chord A, so it's an E-shaped bar chord, and I'm up on the 5th fret. So my index finger is on the bottom E string on the 5th fret, and the rest of the fingers are a normal E-shaped bar chord. But instead of, again, holding my finger right across the fret like that, I'm just holding down, actually I only need to hold down the bottom note because my finger here is already covering that string, so I don't need to hold down two strings, just need to hold down the one string. So it goes from the B minor, and if you have a minute, why don't we go? Alright, so from that A you want to just slide down. Keep these three fingers on the strings. They don't have to be pressed down hard, but just keep them on the strings so that you can just slide them down nicely for your E chord. So it goes to the B minor. If you have a minute, why don't we go? Just B minor. Talk about it somewhere only we know. So it's B minor, A, E. And again. This could be the end of everything. Alright, so the change in this chorus goes up to the D. So why don't we go? And then up to the E. Somewhere only we know. And just pull off lightly. So just sort of lighten up on the strumming just for this particular section. Bring the dynamics down a little bit so that way we can build back up into the song. So it's somewhere only we know. To the D, A, only we know. Right, now we're going back up into that pre-chorus. Oh, simple thing, which is an F sharp minor to a C sharp minor. Where have you gone? To the D, I'm getting old. To the B minor, something to rely on. To the F sharp minor again. So tell me when you're gonna let me in. To C sharp minor, to the D, getting tired and I need somewhere to begin. We're going straight into the chorus again. To the B minor. And if you have a minute, why don't we go? Which is that B minor to the A to the E progression. Talk about it somewhere only we know. Remember to keep your fingers on those three fingers on the strings and just slide down to that first fret. This could be the end of everything. D, so why don't we go? So why don't we go? Right, so this is right at the end of the song now. We're in the sort of the last chorus, and we're going to the, which is the B minor. Oh, B minor to A to E. Oh, this could be the end of everything. To the D. So why don't we go? somewhere only we know. D to the E, somewhere only we know. Now to finish, we go to the E, somewhere only we know. So we finish on that tonic, finish at the end, and we kind of resolve that whole chorus, and we just finish on the A and let it zone out from there. So let me know how you go. Leave a comment and like it if you liked it, and I'll see you again.